What's up, book besties? Welcome to another episode of She's All Books, where we dive into the raddest reads that will totally blow your mind. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's chat all things books. Because life's too short for boring stories. Ready? Let's get this book party started. What's up, book besties? Welcome back to another episode of She's All Books, the podcast that feels like a literary sleepover with your favorite 90s playlist playing in the background. Today, I'm joined by author Tisa Matthews, whose latest novel, Unhitched, is a glitter-gelled, emotionally satisfying, nostalgia-soaked rom-com that has completely taken over my brain, my feed, and my heart. I am so excited for all of my book besties to hear all about Unhitched, whether it's for the first time or if you've read it and you're just here to reminisce on your reading. This book is set against the chaos of turning 30, emotional baggage, and a very unexpected couch sharing situation. Unhitched follows Maya, who is a messy, creative, early 2000s obsessed queen, and Case, a guarded, constipated cinnamon roll who just wants peace and quiet. So, this book is a grumpy sunshine, forced proximity, slow burn, and millennial spiral, all wrapped up in 367 pages of healing, heat, and hilarious banter. So, thank you so much for joining me, Tisa. I can't wait to talk all things heartbreak, healing, Hilary Duff references, and the brilliant mind behind it all. So, thank you for joining me today.
Hi, yeah. Okay. If you know that reference, then we're literally going to be best friends because that is
Yes.
my all-time favorite 2000.
There you go. It is the most perfect book with all of like your references. You can tell like as I get closer and closer to like talking to you, like that's how excited it's gonna be me just like fangirling the whole time. But this is like the most perfect book to come onto this podcast. And I always get so excited when I get tagged in books online, like from other bookstagrammers or authors, and like, oh my gosh, you have to read this one. It's like all about 90s and early 2000s nostalgia. And that's exactly how I found you. Is I was getting tagged by other authors who have been on the podcast or who follow me on Instagram, and they're like, you have to follow Tisa Matthews. She's writing this book and it's like filled with nostalgia, and it was before it released. So it was just like all of the like promos and like sneak peeks and stuff that you were including on your Instagram page, like hyping up the book. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to read this. So I am super thankful. I can't remember exactly which author it was that made that introduction. I think there was a couple, but I'm so glad that I found you through this. So I'm excited to chat.
Yes, I am hype. I'm like on a mission to find people who get it because there's some people who don't get it and people who do just hit different.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I can talk 90s and early 2000s like nostalgia obviously all day long. All right, so in typical literary sleepover vibes, I've got questions for you. I am going to use my handy dandy fortune teller. And before we started recording and I was having all sorts of mic issues, I was trying to say to you, Tisa, you're going to probably be one of the very few people who appreciate my tattoo of my fortune teller, but you can't really see. Because some people see it and they're like, oh, what's the meaning behind this? And they don't know what it is. And I'm like,
What do you mean? What's the
it's
meaning?
just like a nostalgic thing. But anyways, here's a real one. Any of you Gen Zers watching who are like, what is she talking about? These paper fortune tellers have a hard time in this camera of seeing it, but they have 4 colors on the outside. At least this one does. And then on the inside, there are the numbers 1 through 8 that mess up my focus. Come on, 1 second. This will be edited out. 1 second. It is just a tech day for me. Okay, there we are. Start that over.
You're like
On the
kind of
outside of
blurry
this
for
paper
me.
fortune teller are 4 questions for you to colors for you to choose from. And then on the inside, I have 8 numbers that correspond with questions that I have for you, but don't get excited. There's more than 8 questions. I will slide those in like I always do. And so I know you can't really see it too well on the screen. So I will read them to you each time so that you're able to make your choices. Are you up for it? I would be heartbroken if you said no. So that is good. All right, let me get us ready with my notebook. And I dropped my pen. I found it. All right, we are going to kick off, just so that you know, Tisa, I'm not sure if you ever watched any of my lives or the podcast before, but I sneak in a lot of nostalgia games. So be prepared. Your color options are green, orange, pink, or purple.
Well, obviously I'm going to choose pink.
You should definitely pick pink. I just realized like my notebook matches your cover, but yours is a pink composition book. All right, pink it is. Pink. And your number options are 1, 2, 5, or 6.
6.
6. All right. And number 6. All right. Unhitched reads like a love letter to 2000s girlhood. What inspired this story? And was there a single moment that made you go, okay, I need to write this?
You know, I honestly don't know. Okay, I remember. Okay. So I got the initial idea. So the opening scene of the book is Case is like on a rampage because he just found out his girlfriend of 8 years is cheating on him. And he's like, I'm going to go make everyone as miserable as me. So he runs into a restaurant, runs up to a random couple and is like, this is why you didn't want to hang out tonight, to the girl, and doesn't even know her, a complete stranger. I actually saw like a reel with somebody saying they wanted to do this like probably 2 years ago. Probably longer than that now. And I made note of it. I like had it in the little note section of my phone. I'm like, that would be the killer opening to a book. And I just did nothing with it. And as I started writing it, finally, and I started like deciding where I wanted the plot to go, I was like, this kind of has 2000s rom-com vibes. And then I was like, okay, but what if we take it to the next level? And I feel like a lot of books I've read that are 2000s vibes are set in the 2000s. And so I think some people kind of think that my book might be set in the 2000s because it claims 2000s vibes, but it is set present day with all of the throwbacks, and a FMC who's obsessed with the 2000s, and an MMC who kind of realizes he loves the nostalgia of that time too. And I think that makes it different than a lot of books, because personally I have read, you know, of course everyone references here or there, but the ones that are full on immersed in like 2000s nostalgia usually take place there. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm just going to lean into this, I'm going to lean into it. And then I was like, what can I throw in here? And apparently you can throw a lot of nostalgia into one book.
Oh, yeah. You can pack it in there, and you did. And it was so fun to read. I love like the little, I call them like Easter eggs, but really they're not Easter eggs, like in a Taylor Swift kind of way. But I love like being able to just like remember things as they popped in, and as like Maya mentions things, or as they like made their little cameos in the book. It's like, oh my gosh, like I get to like relive all these things. Some of them I forgot about. I've forgotten. So it was so fun to see that in the book.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you wrote it. Here we go. Pink, purple, green, or orange?
Purple.
Purple. 1, 2, or 5?
5.
5. All right. Question number 5. Maya is a literal glitter bomb in a beige world. She's chaotic. She's creative. She's deeply relatable, which I absolutely love. How much of you is in Maya?
Honestly, I think probably, so this is my 5th female lead that I've written, and I think Maya's probably the closest to me, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, of course, there's like little bits of everybody,
Right.
a little bits of me in every single one. But according to my friends, like people who know me who read it, I think they would also agree. I am Maya's very crafty. She has a serial entrepreneurship business where she makes different crafts every single week because she can't like focus on one thing. That is definitely me. Like I am very, very crafty, and everyone's like, oh, start an Etsy. And I'm like, oh, if I have to sell it, I don't want to do it, because then I
No,
have to make it
right.
in repeat. Like that's not my vibe at all. I also, you know, spiral the same way Maya does over the dumbest thing. Like everything will lead up, and then, you know, there's this scene where Maya completely spirals over something that for a lot of people is just like not a big deal. And I had a couple people be like, "I don't understand why she would spiral over that." I'm like, "You don't get it. It's everything leads up. I mean, it's the smallest thing triggers you and you just fall apart." And that's kind of me. So for better or for worse, I do see a lot of myself in Maya. As my husband actually just read this book. This is the first book of mine he's read, and he said, oh, what did he say? Something along the lines of, "You are the good kind of crazy like Maya, or Maya's the good kind of crazy like you are." And I was like, okay,
Aw.
I'll go with that.
We love a supportive husband. That
Yeah,
is
he's
so fun. That's fun because I was reading it and I was like, I feel as if like, and I don't know, this is my first time actually like talking to you, even though like I feel like through reading your book, I've gotten to know you. I was like, I feel like you probably pulled some pieces of you into Maya. So I was right. I was on track with something. All right. And I think it would be hard to not include
yeah. And
pieces
of
of
course, like
you.
you always can give characters like
Yeah.
qualities you wish you had, or maybe
Yeah.
qualities you had when you were younger and stuff like that, which I think is
I
fun.
love it. All right. Back to the fortune teller. We have purple, pink, green, or orange.
Green.
Green. Green. Wow, we keep landing on the same numbers. This happens sometimes. One, two, or one or two?
One.
One. All right. Question number one. There are many tropes in this book. Before I get to this question, do you mind sharing some of those tropes with the audience in case they have not heard of your book before and they're curious like what they're going to get themselves into? Because I know they're all adding it to their TBR. What are some of the tropes in this book?
Yes. So it's funny when I was writing the list, I was like, are these tropes? Like forced proximity is, of course, a trope, and roommates is a trope. I keep calling it accidental roommates because it really just kind of happened and it wasn't supposed to happen. So I would definitely say roommates, accidental roommates, grumpy sunshine for sure. Maya's a ray of sunshine, and Case is her little grumpy rain cloud. There is a one bed scene, of course, all the 2000s nostalgia. Really, because I wrote this book for millennials, I wanted to encapsulate what I think is, for the most part, a universal trope of us millennials is that when you hit 30, there's like this identity crisis that so many of us have where we like feel like we need to be at a certain place in a certain time of our life. And if we're not, we're behind. And I feel like a lot of us compare ourselves to that timeline. So I really wanted that to be like the underlying theme. So I kind of count that as one of my tropes. It might have been you. It was somebody who wrote in the review the turning 30 identity crisis. And I was like,
Yes.
that's actually perfect.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. And I feel like you said, we all experienced it, or most of us definitely experienced the turning 30s identity crisis. So speaking of those tropes, I wanted to ask you about the couch, the perfect setup for forced proximity. Why did like the couch become like, how did that idea pop into your head?
Oh gosh, I feel like I'm so bad at these questions, trying to think back in
Gosh,
that
no, you're
process.
great.
So many months ago. So this book is actually my first series is set in Eugene, Oregon, like University of Oregon, and I hadn't lived there in 10 years. So when I wrote it, I was writing it like a lot of memory, and then I went back to visit and I was like, this is not what I remember. So I was like, it'd be really cool for this book if I write it in the place that I live so that I can like go to the places, see what they're like, and be like detailed. So people who live here are like, wow, that's cool. Like I remember that. I know that. So I actually went down to the waterfront in Vancouver, Washington, by the way, not Canada. And I picked out a hotel, an apartment for Case to live in. And then, well, it's security access, so I couldn't go in it, but I like looked up the floor plans and the prices, and there's like no 2-bedroom apartments in downtown Vancouver waterfront. Like it's not really a thing. There's studios and 1 bedroom. So I was like, okay, so he's not gonna have an extra bedroom. There's no way for that. So what's the option? I mean, obviously she's not gonna be like sleep on my bed. So the couch it was. And I think if I hadn't had Maya move in with Case, it would just have been too hard to get them constantly running into each other because they're so opposite of each other. It wouldn't have been realistic for them to keep running into each other. So this way, it kind of gave that ability to get to know each other, even when it was a little bit forced.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I loved all the tropes. I loved like the slow burn piece to it. There was like some emotional healing, the opposites attract, the grumpy sunshine. As a reader, what are some tropes that you typically gravitate towards when you're picking up a book to read?
I really love Okay, I know this is a red flag. I love love triangles. I'm just like a sucker for
Love,
them.
yes.
I love love triangles. I love toxic. Like the After series is what got me into reading romance. So like that just has a special place in my heart. I also love like brother's best friend or best friend's brother. I really like that. I really like Why Choose if it's written correctly. Honestly, those are like my favorite ones, which are not in this book, but that's okay.
No, I always say that I gravitate towards the red flags, like the second chance romance, the miscommunication tropes, like all of those that are like, there's probably some like red flags in those books guaranteed. And I'm like, give them to me. And I loved the After series as well. I actually interviewed Anna Todd not too long ago, and she was fabulous. It was neat to see how like incredibly far she's come since writing that series on Wattpad. All right, let's see. We've got pink, purple, green, or orange.
Orange.
Orange. Okay. Orange. We got new numbers: 3, 4, 7, or 8.
3.
3. Question number 3 is all about our main male character, Case. So, Case is one of the most emotionally nuanced male main characters that I've read in a bit. Love him. What was your approach in writing such a guarded but also like deeply layered male lead?
And I think, first off, I really wanted to have him be different than any other male main character that I've written before. I think just for the sake of like making your books feel not the same, like giving them different qualities. Something that I do is I like kind of love the Enneagram. So I try to give all of my main characters Enneagrams before I start writing. So then that way, when it comes time for them to make a decision or have a thought in their head, I'm like, okay, as an Enneagram 6, 6, wing 5, whatever kind of, he's kind of in between. What decision would he make or what thought would he have based on that? And I feel like that really helps me stay on track and like keeping him in character. And I had just never really written someone who was grumpy before. Like all of my boys are really, they're honestly super sweethearts. They're all big lovers. And so I was like, okay, let's see what I can do. If can I write somebody grumpy? And some people thought he was a little too grumpy, but I also tried to keep in mind, like I said, that underlying theme of turning 30 and feeling like you're behind and putting myself in the mindset of like, imagine being in an 8-year relationship. You know, you think you're going to spend the rest of your life with someone and then you find out they're cheating on you and you basically have to start your life over when you feel like you already had it all figured out. And so I just tried to remind myself of that. I also like, I tend to make playlists for my characters too. So like before I'm writing their chapter, I'll like play their playlist and try and get the vibe right. So I stay like in their head, I guess.
Love that. So an Enneagram and a playlist, and you've got these characters all figured out. You are the only, like, I've interviewed a lot of authors between like the podcast and Instagram Live, and you're only the second person who I've heard get so in depth with their character development, and I think it totally shows like as I'm reading the books. And the other author, she was telling me that she does the Enneagram as well, but then she also has like their birth charts and like all sorts of like astrological pieces as well, like about the characters. And I'm like, that's like where I would just never write the book. I would just get the psychology like major in me would get so like deep in these characters and like psychoanalyzing them. I would never write the book. I would just have so much fun like studying them. That's
Well,
awesome. I love that.
a psychology major too. So
Okay. Yeah.
my high school psychology teacher, he actually read my first series. And after each book, he'd be like, oh my gosh, it's like you were paying attention in my psychology class, like your progression of their emotions based on their age, like it totally fits like the actual like trend in society. And I was like, well, that's the biggest compliment I've ever received. Thank you. So
Yes, that's
that's probably my
awesome.
inner psych major too.
Yeah, and it helps like as a reader, like the characters feel more relatable when there's like that, like actual like those layers involved in the character development and their arcs and everything. So I love it. All right, orange, green, pink, or purple.
Pink.
All right, PINK. And we've got question 4, 7, or 8.
4.
Question 4. I guess we're saving all these fun speed rounds for later. Question 4 is all about my favorite references and all the nostalgia in the book, which is just the cherry on top of such a fun book to read. You included references like Lizzie McGuire, Tamagotchis, One Tree Hill. I mean, so many. I could just looking at the character art, which I'm obsessed with, and I'm pretty sure I can show some of these on the pod. If you're under 18, look away. But actually, not even. You can totally look. But you included like a lot of fun character art, mixed music lists, some fun stickers. And then the bookmark fell. I'm so sorry. But a cute bookmark. Like there were so much fun things in this book. I'm so thankful that you sent it to me. But I just wanted to take a second and just appreciate this cover, which I'll make sure to post many pictures of it on my Instagram. If you're watching this and you can't really make it out, it's not you, it's me. But there's a Tamagotchi. There's the S that we all would make with the 3 lines and all the things. I just can't get over all the nostalgia in here. And my question for you is, was there a 90s or early 2000s gem that you were like, I must include this in this book no matter what it takes? Like, this is going to make it in the book. Is there like a special like nostalgia reference that you're like, this is going in there?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if there was just one. So when I started writing, I made a spreadsheet and I started writing every reference that I could think of to include. And then I would like highlight them when I included them, just when things popped into my head. And then of course, when I'm done, I'm like, oh man, I missed some really good opportunities. Especially when I started following like nostalgic accounts. I was like, dang it, I missed that. But like, you can't encapsulate
There's
everything
so
that
many
was
out there.
growing up in the 2000s. I think I like throwing in references that are like a little bit obscure that I love. I feel like when you read a reference in a book and you get it, you feel like you're in on a secret. And that's part of what I love about it. It feels so cool.
Yes.
And so there's some that I was very hesitant to add because I was like, oh, this might just be a me thing. It could be a regional thing. It could be a specific childhood thing. But I was like, oh, I have to do it. Like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Some of them are like very, as you know, like some of them are blatant, like references, and some of them are just kind of like slid in there. Also, it's really hard because you're not supposed to quote movies and stuff. So you have to find ways around fitting them in. One of my favorite movies is Heavyweights, so I tried to slide a couple Heavyweights references in there. One from Blast from the Past, which no one has seen. Blast from the Past, which is just like a sin. It's like young Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
And
I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, thank God, because like nobody's seen it. So I threw one of those in there, or The Borrowers, and I'm like really sad when nobody's seen The Borrowers because that was just like childhood for me. But as far as like things I had to, I really tried to just do all the things that made me happy and the things that like made me want to go relive my childhood. And then I did ask I asked a little on social media and my ARC team, like, what's your favorite things? Because we don't all have the same experiences. So I wanted to like kind of capture some of the main ones for other people that maybe like I wouldn't have known.
I love that. I love it. And it is like, I guess maybe my reference to Easter eggs is correct because it does get like exciting when you like catch things that you're like, oh my gosh, I know she got that from this movie. Or, oh my gosh, like I was also obsessed with like One Tree Hill and like all the different references. It kind of builds that fun community. So I was really enjoying it. All right. Green, orange, pink, or purple?
Purple.
Purple. PLE. That keeps happening today. Would you like to answer question 7 or 8?
8.
You say 7.
Sure.
I don't know. I can hear. Sorry, it was me. It's my computer. Or did you say 8?
I said 8, but whichever.
Okay. Question 8. Is a speed round finally of Never Have I Ever author edition. So this is not your typical college Never Have I Ever, but we can pretend, where I am just going to be drilling you with Never Have I Ever statements, and that you will put a finger down if you have done the thing I say I haven't done, mostly because I am not an author. I don't write books. So I haven't done any of these things. So you will hold up 5 fingers. My goal, of course, is to get all 5 fingers down. I am never successful at this, but we will see. Also, just a disclosure to folks who are watching. This is my first Tisa Matthews that I've ever read, even though that will be changing. I'm going to go read her other books that she has already released. So some of these questions, I have no idea if she's done any of these in the other books. Some of them I know she hasn't done in this book. So we're taking some stabs in the dark over here. So I'm not totally cheating. All right. Are you ready?
Ready.
There we go. Never have I ever killed off a character and cried doing it. All right. That gives me hope for the other books that I'm going to be reading very, very soon, most likely this weekend. Okay. Never have I ever written a scene that made me blush. Good. Never have I ever read my own book back and thought, damn, that's good. Yes. Good. Never have I ever wanted to date one of my own MMCs. Why? I mean, men written by women. Like, come on now. Never have I ever based a character on someone from real life.
Percentage is base.
I mean, I would say 50%.
I mean, read the disclaimer at the beginning of the book. No one is based off of real life.
Yeah. I love it. Well, those were my 5. You still have 1 finger up, so technically you win. But I will just go ahead and take it as a partial win because I'm glad. I didn't think you have killed any characters off, but also I was testing the waters before I go ahead and dive in. All right. Thank you for playing that speed round of Never Have I Ever with me. There are 2 numbers left, but don't worry, that doesn't mean the fun that I'm having is going to be over anytime soon. So let's see if we can get these 2 numbers. I think we are left with 7 and 2. So for fun, orange, green, pink, or purple?
Orange.
All right, ORANGE. And would you like to answer question number 2?
Yes. Yes,
Yay.
I would.
Great. I was hoping you'd say so. Question number 2 is another speed round, but this one is a speed round of Would You Rather. Have you ever played Would You Rather?
I mean, it is in my book, so.
Yeah, it is in your book. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. This is the second. Okay. There's another book that I recently read that had Would You Rather in it, and then another book that I recently read that had Truth or Dare, so I'm getting them all mixed up in my brain, but I get very excited when these show up in the books. Okay, so yes, Tisa is the queen of Would You Rather. This is going to be perfect for her. I have 5 statements that I will give, well, I guess 5 scenarios. I don't know, whatever the right word is. 5 prompts. You will tell me which and each you would rather do. All right. Would you rather write a breakup scene or a reunion scene?
Breakup scene.
Okay.
Toxic. I like toxic.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm here for it. I'm also here for like the toxic reunion, if you know what I mean. All right. Would you rather live with Maya for a week or with Case for a week?
Maya. 100% Maya.
I mean, like,
Well, it depends.
You have to say you, Maya. Yeah.
Is Case mine or is Case Maya? That's the question.
It's like, I do. I live with myself all the time. Would you rather give up crafting or give up your nice music playlist?
Crafting for sure. You cannot give up
Yeah,
music.
I feel like I should read off some of these awesome songs that you put on the playlist. Would you rather your ex read your book or, and this is crazy, I put your high school English teacher, but really I should put your high school psychology teacher.
Well, considering actually I've already had both read. Yeah.
Do tell.
Well, I guess let me take that back. Neither have read this book.
Okay, but they've read book.
But my high school psychology teacher has read all of my first series. And actually a couple of my exes have read my other book.
Oh, you are just living rent-free in their minds.
Yeah.
I love it. I love this.
Support you. Yeah.
Wow,
So,
very
not
cool.
this one,
Well,
but my husband read this one, so we're good.
I mean, that's all that matters is that the hubs reads it. All right. Well then, I didn't expect that answer to be honest with you, but this is great. This is wonderful. And I do wish I said like psychology teacher. Okay. Last one. Would you rather be stuck in a rom-com or a psychological thriller?
I'm like tempted to say psychological thriller because I'm a psych major, but when it comes down to it, rom-com.
But let's be real. We want to be in the rom-com. We want to save the drama for the screen and we want to watch the psychological thriller.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, that's how I am. I mean, that's my nighttime bedtime routine, is just to put on some sort of crazy like documentary or something. All right. Well, I think that I would have guessed all of those correctly, except never would have seen the ex and this teacher thing coming a mile away. So can't even
Had to
pretend.
throw you.
Yeah, you had to throw me because you can't make it too easy on me. All right. Well, I love it when I get to be surprised. Okay. We're going to, just for old time's sake, we're going to do this one last time. See if we can get to question number 7. Let's go for it. What color would you like to choose?
Pink.
I knew you would say that. Pink. And we didn't do it, but we're going to fake it. Would you like to answer question number 7?
I would love to.
Yay. Question number 7 is actually my favorite question to ask authors, but I feel as if it's probably the one you're asked like the most and you might hate. But here we go. Question number 7. What do you hope that readers walk away with after reading Unhitched?
I don't know why people would hate that question.
I feel like as everyone asks.
I think when it comes to nostalgia, there are some people who are very I don't want to, maybe judgmental is not the right word, but there are a lot of people who are like, why are you stuck in the past? Get out of the past. Like, you need to move forward with your life and like grow up. And I think that Maya does a good job in this story of finding the balance between loving the nostalgia of her past and figuring out how to move forward in a way that makes her life the best that it can be. And so I guess I hope people realize that too. Like, it's okay if you're still excited to go to the Backstreet Boys concert and fly to Vegas with your best friends. Like, it's okay if you still only want to listen to your old music, or if you want to. I had one of my very good friends lost her dog recently, and so she got a whole herd of Tamagotchis to keep alive, and that's like keeping her sane. And I just love that, and I think that's a good like theme of this. Like, it's okay to hold on to the things that make you happy, even if people think they're childish or you need to grow up or whatever it is.
I love that. I love that so much. Um, and what a nice way to like use nostalgia to grieve. Like if somebody got me a Tamagotchi when I like lost a pet, I would have been like, oh my gosh, like this is like the most, well, the best, but also the most thoughtful gift. I would absolutely love that. Um, Also, like total pivot, and it's gonna sound like a little distasteful, but I never had a Tamagotchi. My sister did. I had a nano pet. Did you ever hear of like the nano pet?
Okay, so I actually had a nano pet too, but I wrote
Okay.
Tamagotchi because I felt like it was more popular,
It
but I
is.
think
Yeah.
nano.
Okay, I had a nano pet dog, and my sister had like the Tamagotchi, and I was like so good at keeping my nano pet alive. Like I was like the best. Like my nano pet was like an old gangster dog, and like I don't know how, because I have like the worst ADHD, you can probably tell, but like I was able to keep that thing so taken care of. And one day it goes missing, and I was like, where is he? Like I was like losing my mind, and like my parents were like trying to help me find it, because like I was like, he's gonna need to eat. Like I bet he pooped. Like I was like absolutely like freaking out over this. And like I had gotten him to be like 13 years old in like the nano pet world. And long story short, a couple weeks later, I found him at the bottom of my sister's baby doll cradle, like under the blankets, under the dolls. She sabotaged me. She hid that nano pet out of pure jealousy. And to this day, I will never forgive her for that. I had never been so mad in my life at that age.
That's fair. I
Anyways,
would be too.
there's trauma there if you can't tell. But yeah, I loved my nano pet. They're the best. All right. Well, I'm glad I've gotten to tell that story. Never in a million years did I think I'd tell that story on this podcast, but it's very fitting. All right. Well, we are at the part of the interview where we are going to use MASH to plot your next bestseller. So this is a bookish twist on MASH. And I feel silly even asking you this. Have you ever played MASH before?
I actually have.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they haven't. And so I get to do the whole spiel of what MASH is. Actually, we're filming this on a MASH Monday. This will release on a MASH Monday on my Bookstagram, where I highlight different books using MASH. And so this is very fitting. All right. So we're going to play MASH, but MASH is going to be bookish related. So our categories are going to have a bookish twist to them, and it's going to plot out your next bestseller. So, our first category is female main character names, and you'll pick 2 names. I'll pick the third name, and it's more fun if you use names that you haven't already featured in a book, but it's up to you.
Okay, so like realistically, I am debating which name to use next. Should I just throw them out there?
Yes. Oh, please. Please do this for me. Yes.
Okay, I literally, that's funny. Today on my Instagram, I was like, I need help. Okay, so my first name I'm gonna give is Gemma,
Ooh.
and my second name is Taya,
Okay. Oh,
which
is
is
this the one that you spelled out Taya? Okay, and you're like,
mhm,
how would you pronounce this?
yes. And I'm like,
That's not how I would pronounce it, but I'm glad that I just heard you say it because I was like, "Oh, Taya." Like, I'm not.
exactly. That's
I'm
why I'm hesitant on it because I feel like people are gonna say it wrong, but I think that Taya is so pretty. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Mash will decide for me.
Match might decide for you. I also like forget about the name Gemma, and I think that is such a beautiful name. All right, I'm going to put the name Charlie. Charlie. Girl Charlie. All right, and then male main character names.
Okay. Do you want the two? Do you want the in on the next two names? Or do you want me to make
Yes.
them up?
No,
Okay.
I want the N.
Okay. Okay, the first one is Brixton,
Ooh.
and the second one is JJ, although I don't know what the J is going to stand for yet.
JJ, I love it. Okay. I'm going to say I don't know, this could be retro mash and me just like totally throwing a wrench in this. But I'm just gonna say Pete. I'm having a hard time with my male
No,
names.
you can't do that. That's my dad's name.
Uh, Definitely using Pete then.
Can you
Right.
imagine?
Also, this makes me wonder while we're playing this, are you a plotter or a pantser when you write? Or a mix?
1,000,000% pantser. I
Pantser.
don't
Okay.
plan shit.
That's how I
No.
would have to be, but I would probably also, if I wrote, this is why I can never write, I would pants myself into the biggest plot hole ever. And so it would just be a disaster. All right. Female main characters, careers.
The stripper.
Love it.
Second one, mob boss's daughter.
Oh,
I may be giving little Easter eggs, but we're going for it.
I think you are, and I'm just here for it. I'm gonna say, I mean, like you're doing my part for me, like by like you're not sticking to like the classical ones and letting me go all wild. So
Go
I feel
wild.
like
You can do it. What's more wild?
I mean, I could. I'm gonna say sex toy rep.
Love it.
I just got actually, let me go ahead and plug this. I just got a really cool deal with a sex toy company. So stay
Love
tuned on my Instagram page for a very fun giveaway. Main male character's career.
doctor
Love it.
and criminal architect.
Okay, say that. What was that again?
Crime architect,
Okay.
the person who plans the crime.
I never have heard of that. I love learning new things.
It took me a while to figure out the real name for it, and I think it's that.
I love that. Okay. I see a storyline here. All right. I'm gonna say whew, let's do
You know what I want someone to write that I will never write? A bear hibernation expert.
we're
'Cause,
making
like,
him that. All right. Talk about the most boring job ever, but cool nonetheless. Air hibernation expert. Why will you never write that? That's
I
sad.
don't know. I just saw it on a documentary one time and I was like, what a job. It sounds like a terrible job. So,
That is amazing. All right, what is the location? You give me 2 locations and I'll pick the third.
New York City,
All right.
Las Vegas.
All right. I'm going to say um the Appalachian Mountains. Have you ever gone down Appalachia TikTok?
No, but I should.
Do it tonight. Actually, if you get spooked easily, don't. But we're going to take it there. Appalachia. All right, and then kids.
I'm going to say 0 or 2.
Okay. I'll say 1. And then tropes. You get to pick 2 tropes. I'll pick the third.
Okay. Why choose?
Ooh.
Or why can I not think of any tropes all of a sudden?
Because you've written all of the amazing tropes.
I guess so.
So it's hard. It's
Friends with
gotten so
benefits,
bad that you'd think I'd like have my choices like
like a
planned
list.
out or like a bank of them in front of me, and I never do, and I have such a hard time choosing them. But in my lives, I have an amazing, 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 amazing audience member who tunes in every time, and she will like just start putting them in the
Thank
like
God.
comments, and I just use whatever Myrna puts. I'm like, oh, thanks, Myrna. It's like I can't
That's
think.
perfect. I'll say, is friends with benefits a trope? I haven't written that, and I think that would be fun.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna say age gap. There we go. All right. Oh, it's so sad. It looks better once this is produced, but filming it, you can barely see anything. All right, we have our MASH plotted out for your next bestseller. Now we get to the super scientific part where I am going to spiral, literally, not physically, or wait, physically, not, I don't know, until you tell me to stop. So go ahead, and it's hard for you to see it. It's harder for me to see it because I don't know where I'm going with this. Thank you. Okay, I made a spiral, believe it or not, and we lost the actual. There we go. Well, there are 5 points of intersection. So I'm going to count and slash until we have one left in every category. You Gen Zers, this is how you play. And then we're going to have our plot. So while I'm doing this, and I'm really bad at counting and talking, it's not something that comes naturally. I want you to share with the audience first of all, anything that we didn't get to chat about yet with Unhitched that you want to make sure we chat about. Once you're done sharing those things, if you could let us know a little bit about your other books that you have published that readers can pick up, and I should be done by then.
Perfect. So, the only thing I can think of that I want you all to know is when you're reading, message me like what the reference makes you think of. I've had a couple people who are like, oh my gosh, this reference reminded me of insert childhood story here. And that has just been so fun for me to like see
That
everyone's
is
like
fun.
the things that really hit home for them and the things that really sparked a memory that made them happy. So if you read the book, when you read the book, and if you read a reference and you're like, oh my gosh, please go down your whole hole like Jordan went into her Tamagotchi or Nano Pet story, because I love that. I'm here for that. So
It's
please do
healing.
that. Yes. So, my first series I wrote, so I came up with the idea in college way back in the day. I went to University of Oregon and I came up with the idea and I sat on the idea for a good 10 years. And then in 2022, I woke up one day and was like, I'm going to write a book. And then I wrote it in 3 months and then it came out a couple months after that. So that's the first one. And then there's you. To the love triangle, but it's not a cheating love triangle. It's, I mean, I like that kind of love triangle, but this one is not that. So there are technically 3 love interests in this book, and then each of the following books follow the best friend of the love interest in this book. And so they're all interconnected. They're all about college age-ish. University of Oregon, there's some California, there's some Connecticut, there's some other stuff thrown in. But yeah, book 1 and 2 need to be read in order because they run parallel to each other. They are about different people, but they run parallel. Book 3 and 4 can be read as a standalone, but it does give away some spoilers a little bit. So read it in order, and then when you're done, there's an 80-page epilogue that has a chapter from each character's point of view, which I had a lot of fun writing. And they're all on Kindle Unlimited.
Love it. Thank you. I cannot wait. I'm like gonna seriously not talk to anybody all weekend because I'm gonna be reading that series. So I'm very excited. And I'm very excited about your next bestseller that we just did a rough plot for. So you're welcome. The hard work is done. Now you need to just use your brain. Okay, so we have our MASH results that you can't really see, but I will read them to you. Our female main character is Gemma. Our male main character is JJ. We don't know what that stands for yet, but JJ. Gemma is a stripper. Here for it. JJ is a bear hibernation expert. So there you go. 2 very, very opposite careers. I was kind of hoping he would be a doctor and she like sprains her ankle on a pole or something, but I don't know. There are 0 kids. They're located in Appalachia. I got one. And then the Tropes is friends with benefits. And somebody lives in a house. I would read this. I would pick this up. I would devour it. And I would read this easily.
I guess I better get researching bear hibernation researcher.
Looks like you will be that author who writes a character who is a bear hibernation
Talk
expert.
about unique.
I'm here for it. I love it. Thank you for playing MASH with me and exploring that side of the nostalgia. Anything that you want to share with the audience about like upcoming events, signings, anything that they should be on the lookout for? Maybe like a rough estimate of when another book might be out. I don't know. Anything that you want to share?
So I just started the next book. I'm literally half of a chapter in, so
Love it.
there might be a stripper pole involved and maybe a sprained ankle. We'll see. But that's as far as I am. I wanted to really be done by the end of August, but that's not going to happen because I'm going to Europe for a month. So I probably will be taking a little hiatus then.
That's exciting.
So yes. So my goal is by the end of the year to have it done. So I would say spring next year will probably be, and this will definitely be different. My first series is contemporary romance. It's set in college. It's for the most part sweet. I mean, one book's toxic, but they're all, contemporary. And then obviously this is rom-com-y. The next one's going to be a little more dark. There may or may not be a killing off of a character. So it'll be a different vibe. So I'm hoping that once everyone reads these, and if they love them, that they'll still follow me into the darker side a little bit and exploring that.
We're here for it. The mood reader in me is so excited. Like I love when I find like an amazing author who has like such a variety of tropes and books and worlds to visit, because I just never know what mood I'm going to be in. So this is very exciting. I do want to ask that if you are watching this or listening to this while you're driving, if you're listening to this while you're driving, don't do this right now, but definitely leave us a comment. Let us know what tropes sound interesting to you with Unhitched, or anything from this interview that resonates with you. Let us know a nostalgic piece that you would want to see in a book, like something that is like your most favorite nostalgic memory, even if it isn't from the 90s or early 2000s. Maybe it's like, I don't know. It could be a show or a movie or a Furby or whatever, but like let us know in the comments what you think about when you think of nostalgia. And then also, I do just want to mention that you can connect with Tisa through the links in the caption of this, no matter what platform you're watching or listening to this on. I have Tisa's information linked so that you can click and quickly connect with Tisa to get all of her updates on upcoming releases, events, books, fun things that Tisa is doing. So make sure that you click the link and connect with her on the various platforms that you can. Anything that I'm forgetting that you want to make sure that I plug in or mention?
Well, I did. I know that just because of the way the world is, there are people who don't want to order on Amazon anymore, which totally understand. I finally caved. I hate going to the post office. That's like my fatal flaw, is I hate going to the post office. But I have excessively ordered all of my books so that I can like personalize and send out orders
Yay!
that are done through there instead of Amazon. So if that's you and you don't want to order through Bookshop, or if you don't know about Bookshop, I don't know if you mentioned it, but I just love that Bookshop exists as
Me
opposed
too.
to Amazon, because you can go on and you can give a little piece of that sale to your local indie bookstore. But if you would like to order through me, which is honestly the best, I don't want to speak for all authors, but I get all the profit then versus Amazon gets none of the profit that way, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
So I'm doing signed copies. Anyone who gets Unhitched, I'll put the character art in the bookmark in there with it. I only have character art for books 3 and 4 in Unhitched, but if you order those, I'll throw those in there too and then sign them. So if you're interested in that versus Amazon, the link's just in my Instagram bio.
Awesome. Perfect. And I love Bookshop, my local bookstore, my indie bookstore. That's how they do all of their book sales. And I love that they get a profit from it, especially because they're such a small physical store that they can't carry like every single book that they want to carry. But this is a cool way to still be able to support them. And I also love that you're mailing out your books yourself, because that takes a lot of work. But I love to hear when authors are getting compensated and the full amount of return that they can get for the books that they write, because I know that that is not often the case. So definitely click the link, connect with Tisa, use those links to purchase her books and to get reading. All right. Well, I cannot wait for this episode to air. I hope that you'll come back when we get to read about our stripper. I'm ready for it. So no rushing. Of course, I'm not rushing you, but I can't wait to dive in to this next book. So I hope you'll come back on the pod. We can chat about it and we can chat more about your other books as well. Once again, thank you so much for sending me a copy of Unhitched. Absolutely love this book. It'll be a reread of mine for sure. I've already read it twice in preparing for this interview, so I appreciate it. And yeah, have a great rest of your evening, everyone. Thank you for joining into this episode of She's All Books. Make sure you like and follow, and we will see you next time, besties. Bye.
Bye.
All right, book besties, that's a wrap on this totally rad episode of She's All Books. If you're digging this vibe, don't be a square. Smash that subscribe button faster than you can say as if. Want to keep the convo going? Hit me up on social media at She's All Books. Drop a comment, share your fave book, or tell me what you want to hear next. I'm all ears. And hey, if you thought this episode was all that, spread the word. Tell your besties, your mom, even that cute barista at the local coffee shop. The more, the merrier. Stay tuned for the next episode, dropping Mondays at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a blast. Until then, keep it real and keep on reading. See ya.